Welcome to Sharing Success, the podcast where we turn inspiration into action. I'm Tysen Creager, your host, here to guide you on a journey of growth, motivation, and self discovery. In each episode, I'll share powerful lessons, actionable tips, and uplifting insights to help you achieve your goals and create a life you love. Whether you're here to find clarity, build confidence, or simply get inspired, you're in the right place. Let's start building your success story, one step at a time. Hello, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Sharing Success, your personal permission slip to pivot, glow up, and make bold moves without needing anybody else's approval. Y'all, let me tell you, I'm going to try to record this podcast in one take because I am not really a fan of having to go back and edit through everything. So there may be a few slip ups, there may be a few mispronounced words, all the fun stuff. Just bear with me, okay? Enjoy the ride. Anyways, I am your host, Tysen Creager. I'm a wellness fanatic. I am a sunshine chaser, and I am your motivational hype girl. And I am someone who has started over more times than I've finished a cup of coffee before it got cold. You feel me? So, today's episode is called The Art of Starting Over, Embracing New Beginnings. It's very fitting for my life right now. I was really excited the way that this kind of lined up with what's going on in my life right now. So, whether you're starting a new career, re entering the dating world after ghosting your own love life, or just trying to remember who you were before burnout became your personality, we're diving deep. Let's get into it. First, we need to address why starting over is so freaking hard, but incredibly necessary. Let's get one thing out of the way. Starting over is not a sign of failure. Say it with me. Starting over is growth. But the reason it feels so hard, because our brains hate uncertainty. Let me give you a quick fact. A study published in Nature Communications showed that the brain perceives uncertainty as a threat, activating stress responses similar to physical danger. So, yes, your brain would rather you stay in a soul sucking job or a toxic relationship because at least it knows what to expect. Cute, right? We love it. But the cost of staying stuck is so much higher than the risk of starting fresh. The longer you settle, the heavier it feels. Until one day you wake up and you think, is this it? Is this my life? And spoiler alert, guys, no, that's not it. You get to change the script. And that is what we are going to talk about today. Okay, let's get real. Let's talk about my I'm done moments and why I'm really grateful for them. I want to take you behind the curtain for a second. There were points in my life where I looked around and thought, I've built this beautiful box of a life, but I don't even want to be in it. It looked good from the outside, you know? But on the inside, I was overworked, I was overwhelmed, and really underaligned. So I walked away. And honestly, I've done this a lot of times in my life. I just think I am primed not to settle. I think that when something in my life doesn't feel in alignment, it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel true to me, I don't know how, I don't know why, but I have this belief that it's okay to start over. You don't have to stay in situations that you feel stuck in. Not at all. Anyways, I walked away from routines, identities, expectations, even from the people who had front row seats in my life, but they weren't clapping anymore. And yes, I questioned everything. I had panic attacks in Target. I journaled until my hand cramped. I went through therapists like they were disposable makeup wipes. But you know what? Every version of me that started over, she paved the way for the me that is sitting here today with a mic, a mission, and maybe a little too much caffeine. Let's get real though. The me today, I wouldn't recognize myself 10 years ago. And I'm grateful for the me that never settled to get her there. a woman in a new state, in a new house, in new life situations that she never thought that she would be in, simply because she didn't settle. And I don't intend on settling anytime soon. Let's get into the good stuff now. The 5 stages of starting over. Because yes, it's a process. If you are at a point in your life where you're like, okay, not happy with the box that I'm in, but I want to start over, how do I do it? That's what we're going to cover right now. That's what we're going to break down. Here are the 5 emotional and practical stages of starting over, because knowledge is power. And y'all know I love a good list. Number 1, the I can't do this anymore realization. So this is when something snaps. You hear that little voice that says, this isn't it. Do not ignore that voice. That is the wiser version of you whispering truths through the noise. I also like to call that your intuition, your higher self, whatever you believe in, right? We trust that noise at all costs. We trust that voice. Here is a journal prompt to kind of dive a little deeper into this, if you would like. What part of my current life feels misaligned, even if I can't fully explain why? Write that down, answer it when you have some time. What part of my current life feels misaligned, even if I can't fully explain why? Second stage is the what now freak out. Cue the anxiety, cue the overthinking. This is the what am I doing with my life stage? Totally normal though. We're gonna ride the wave. And here's a pro tip to kind of help you through that. Try a reverse clarity exercise. So, again, more journaling. We love it. Yay for self help. Write down everything you don't want anymore. Sounds counterintuitive, but it's oddly freeing. It's going to give you a look at the areas in your life that are really going to need some revamp. Okay. Stage 3, the plan making phase. This is where you feel like a Pinterest board come to life, and it is the fun part. Vision boards, bucket lists, color coded planners, Pinterest for days, y'all. You start dreaming again, and you start thinking, wait, maybe I can do this. It's almost like that little bit of magic comes back into your soul again. Let me give you a stat to back it up. So, according to Forbes, people who vividly describe or picture their goals are 1.4 times more likely to achieve them. Guys, that is not just woo woo, that is neuroscience, baby. You are 1.4 times more likely to achieve something if you can vividly walk through it in your mind. Please set aside some time and visualize your dream life. Visualize what the end goal is for you when you are making a change like this, when you're starting over. It will make all the difference. Okay, phase or stage 4 is the action and the mini meltdown phase. So, this is where you're making moves, babe, and you may freak out a little. It's the big part. You send the resignation email, you delete the dating app, you start the side hustle, and then you immediately question everything. Do not panic though, because this is your nervous system adjusting to expansion. I go on this rant all the time because it's something that I truly believe, that growth is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfy. It is scratchy, itchy, not fun. But let me tell you something. If we can get through that growth, if we can get through the nervous system freak out for making this new change and adjusting to um, our new normal because we refuse to settle, guys, the growth that comes from it is immeasurable. So know that if you are uncomfortable in the midst of starting over, you are doing the right thing. Let me give you guys a tangible tip. So let's focus on systems, not just goals. So if you want to write a book, an example would be don't just say, I want to write a book. Say, I want to write for 20 minutes, 20 minutes every morning. So the idea here is going to be to turn the big goals into smaller ones and then focus on crushing those smaller goals every day. Eventually, they're going to add up, and before you know it, you've achieved your big goal. So break things down when it's overwhelming. And then, we love it, the last phase, the becoming phase. So this is when you start to feel it. You're like, oh, wait, I'm doing it. You're not at the destination yet, but you're not who you used to be either. You're evolving and you feel good and you are proud of yourself for taking those steps. And let me tell you what, evolution, it looks real good on you. Let's add to your toolkit. I want to give you some tangible steps to start over with purpose. So, here are the 5 powerful steps that you can take today. Yes, like today, to start fresh. Step number 1 is going to be audit your current life. So, where are you settling? Where are you shrinking? Do a full life scan. Relationships, career, health, habits. Here's a little mini exercise to go with that. Rate each area from 1 to 10. Anything under a 7, time to investigate because you deserve a 10 in all areas of your life, full stop. Step number 2, we want to redefine what success means to you. So forget Instagram, forget your Aunt Karen, forget that nagging voice in your head that tells you you're not as good as everybody else. Success is not a one size fits all Brandy Melville dress. Success is individual to each person. You need to ask yourself, what does a successful life feel like? Not just look like. Step number 3 is you want to create a new chapter starter pack. This is where you're going to make a physical or digital space for this new beginning. So, new playlist, new journal, new habits, new energy. Yes, even a new phone wallpaper if that helps. Step number 4, we want to set boundaries like a boss. So you cannot step into a new chapter while dragging old energy around. You just can't. So that's going to mean saying no more often. It means muting people who make you doubt yourself. And that also means making room for what matters. And then step 5, we want to commit to progress, not perfection. You will not get it all right, but perfection was never the goal. The goal is momentum, consistency, evolution, growth. As soon as you understand that, you will be so much better. Now, let's talk about the beauty in the beginning. I want you to know that every time you start over, you're rewriting a narrative. You're choosing to be the hero instead of the victim. And that's the most powerful thing that you can do. I want to share with you a quote that I love. New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. That is by Lao Tzu. So that breakup, that job loss, that rock bottom moment, yeah, it might have just been the universe handing you a blank canvas. I want to give you some questions to sit with this week. If you're listening to this and you're feeling that nudge, I've got some journal prompts for you. So take note. First one, what chapter in my life am I ready to close? Something to think about. Second one, if I wasn't afraid, what would I do differently today? Lots to think about. And then the third and final one is, what version of me have I been suppressing and how can I set that person free? And those are helpful for journaling, obviously, but just to think about too. I think there's a lot to be said from the answers that you can get from those. Here is your challenge this week. I want you to make one bold move towards your next chapter. It can be small. So book the therapy session, update the resume, go for a walk, say the no. Then I want you to tag me on Instagram or TikTok. You can send me a DM or something. I want to hype you up. I want to happy cry with you and then send you confetti emojis until you block me. Listen, starting over is not easy, but it is so worth it. I can tell you that right now as I am sitting in a new state, in a new house. It is so worth it. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. And if this episode lit something up inside of you, please leave a review, share it with a friend, or scream, "I'm starting over," into the void while holding onto your emotional support water bottle. Don't we all do that? Seriously, I want you to know you are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to pivot. You are allowed to want more. Please, please remember that. I'll say it one more time so it sinks in. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to pivot. And you are allowed to want more. And I'll be right here cheering you on as you do it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful day and catch me on the next episode of Sharing Success. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Sharing Success. If you enjoyed what you listened to today, I'd love it if you could take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel for even more inspiring content, leave a review for the podcast, or share this episode with someone who could use a little motivation today. Your support means the world and helps me to keep growing this amazing community. And as always, remember to keep striving, keep sharing, and keep succeeding. I'll see you next time.